Hey team, Jeff Neal here. I was actually fixing to go for a ride. I'm gonna pick some things up, and figured I'd invite you to join. So I left the seat open for you. Let's get it. So a conversation that I was recently having with none other than my illustrious, divine, loving mother. But we were talking about, of course, different issues in the world. And I guess by, tuning into these conversations, you guys can tell I'm pretty opinionated. But it came to mind, and it's coming to mind even more so because I'm having more conversations about this same topic all the time. Not all the time, all the time. And it's around Malcolm Gladwell's book, Talking to Strangers. And man, I'm telling you, whatever side of the fence you're on all of the things that are happening in life right now, this book will change your life, or at least be the catalyst to change your life, I should say, because it only will change your life if you change your mindset. So this book talks about the benefits to talking to strangers, but also the negative ramifications we have from not talking to strangers. So as an example, if you're not talking to the people around you, or the people around you all look just like you, think just like you, act just like you, blah blah blah, you're not talking to strangers. And in doing so, or in not doing so, you are increasing the amount of potentially bias you're increasing the potential fear associated. I like to enunciate, certain words hard, just to make sure you're listening. But with that fear, it just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows, because we're feeding our brains and our existence with junk for the most part. I look on, and I don't even want to get into like the whole social justice thing, but I found an unnamed group on Facebook that is widely public, fortunately and unfortunately. But there is a meme within this group, and I don't know if it's just bait or whatever, but this group believes that George Floyd, as an example, was at his own funeral, because there's a picture, and Steven Jackson, former NBA player, is in the picture. And the people in this group don't know who Steven Jackson is, and don't know that we all know who Steven Jackson is, and that he resembles greatly George Floyd. So I don't want to get into that, because that's neither here nor there, but all that I'm saying is we need to close the gap in terms of who we deem as strangers. And the more that we're able to change the circle that we navigate in, the better off we'll all be. So I challenge people to, you don't necessarily have to be friends or, best friends with people, but I mean, like, talk to people who are different than you, like, all the time. And, in talking to people that are different from you, it's going to be awkward. It's going to be awkward, super awkward, potentially. But let it be. Don't try to fit in. Don't try to blend in. Just be completely vulnerable. Be completely open, and don't have an agenda. Just get to know people. And, as we get to know people, so as an example, we all know that everything that's going on in the world, with social justice, as the prime example, with, people of color, and specifically black people, and the law enforcement. And I'll say this, like, I have friends, like great friends, that are in law enforcement. Great friends. And I also have, like, conveniently, and I mean, like, coincidentally, I have great friends that happen to be black. I don't know if you picked that up. But what keeps these two sides apart more than anything else is fear. Like, there are people that are legitimately scared to drive at night. Like, that is ridiculous. You imagine, like, somebody who's already scared to drive at night being put in a position where they have to face this fear unabated. I mean, like, that is like the grounds for like disaster. In the same vein, we have people who are in law enforcement, as an example, who have never experienced, potentially, a conversation and getting to know somebody who doesn't look like them or act like them. And having to make a split decision on either side, what to do when you're scared is not a good combination. So what I challenge people to do, and what I've done with my little bro, is I've taken him to, I was going to say multiple. Yeah, well, no, I don't know. So I've taken him to at least one event that involved the police. It was a junior police academy. And my guy met up with police sergeants, police officers. He got to pet the German Shepherd. He got to put on the bomb gear, I believe, and play around, like, not play around with it, but I mean, like, hold it to see how heavy it was, so on and so forth. He got to sit in, like, the little paddy wagon. I don't know, like, it's a better name for it, but I like to call it the paddy wagon. But I mean, like, if nothing else, this guy was put in a position, being 12, 13 years old, where he's, like, shaking hands and, like, understood the humanity of this position. Where I'm not saying that it's gonna, like, magically correct all that's wrong, but I mean, like, at least in conversations, when my guy is talking to his friends, his family, he can say, like, oh no, I mean, I get it, like, some bad things happen, horrible things happen, but I mean, like, I met some of them, and they're not all bad, and vice versa. Like, if people are able to get on the other side and have interactions and conversations that aren't involved with arrests and investigations and so on and so forth, we can begin to close this gap and get more conversation, so that at least we won't be fearful 100%. Maybe we can get it down to 85%, 70%, 50%, and that'll at least make it a little bit better, where we can feel a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I stand on that. 2, a lot of people are complaining about problems right now. Whether it be, again, that same topic or other things. I mean, like, because even without all this social justice information, even without COVID-19, like, we still have a lot of problems in this world. And I strongly believe that we have just become intoxicated with complaining idly. And I mean, like, I get it. I truly get it. Like, we need vent sessions. You need to get things off your chest. Like Abraham Lincoln, Barack Obama, as examples only, are just two of many, many people who journal and who have written letters to people that rubbed them the wrong way, and they threw out the letter afterwards. You know, that's just like an easy example. I mean, you can even look at me like filming these videos. I mean, like, I can easily like get some things off my chest in a fashion which keeps my mental health working in my favor. So I challenge people, like, if you have, like, if you sense, if you feel, if you just know that there are problems in this world, I challenge you to focus on ways in which we can find solutions for those problems rather than complaining just to complain. And I know that my tone sounds like I'm yelling at you, but I say this with love. I just feel like we get so caught up in complaining and picking sides and wanting to get our point across, and we need to create environments where we can just talk it out. You know, I listened to a YouTube video of an African-American gentleman who actually went to KKK meetings and made friends with a KKK member. Now that's a bit extreme as an example, but his quote in the end or in a portion of that video was, if we're talking, we can't fight, but the moment we stop talking, that's when the breeding ground for fighting begins to grow. So keep that in mind, folks. I don't want to take up any more of your time than I have to. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. Have a good day.